10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
To kick off the month of November, it's do or die time for a couple of teams looking to secure their spot in the postseason in Class 3A, as Westbrook Christian and Walter Wellborn, both with 5 wins on the season, and both have 4-3 Region 6 records in Class 3A. And for the loser of this game, it means, especially for Westbrook Christian, that the season comes to a close, but the winner, especially for Walter Wellborn, it means that they'll have a little bit more football to go here in 2024. It's the Bluefin FNN High School Football Game of the Week from the Hill here on the campus of Walter Wellborn High School on the west side of Anniston. We wish you a happy game day here on the Bluefin FNN High School Football Game of the Week as we get our Tillison Bend Campground countdown to kickoff underway. James Hardy, Coach Eddie Bullock, Shasta Jones down on the sideline, Jim Jacobs in the trailer, and our FNN crew with you for the final regular season Friday of this 2024 season. And Coach Bullock, this is a big game, the biggest game of the season for both teams, with a lot at stake tonight.
Absolutely. Hey, I think it's a win to get in game, so it's going to be very interesting to see who goes out and who does what.
A 9-team region in Class 3A Region 6, both Piedmont still undefeated going into tonight, as well as Locust Fork. They've already punched their ticket into the postseason, while on the flip side, Sax and Glencoe, we know for sure they will not be going to the postseason. But in between that, there are 5 teams, Eddie, vying for just the remaining 2 spots in the postseason out of Region 6.
And it's amazing, at the, I guess the count of things that are happening in there with certain teams beating certain teams. It's just all kind of mixed and jumbled up right there. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight.
And you look at Walter Wellborn, Eddie, they won their first 5 games of the season, but they've had some hard times down the stretch over the last 3 weeks as they've lost their last 3 region games. A couple of those one-possession games, including their last home game, a 37-36 heartbreaker against Locust Fork.
And that's what it happens a lot. It happened to me as a head coach, but you don't want that your season to get down to that, but sometimes it just happens.
Well, Westbrook Christian, as far as heartbreakers, they're telling us hold my glass on this one, because last week at home against Weaver, they lost on the very final play of the game in the fourth quarter, 34-31, thanks to Caden Gooden, our FNN Player of the Week this week. And you look at Westbrook Christian, 5-4 overall, 3-4 in region play. They also have more than their fair share of heartbreaking losses. 3 of their 4 losses have come by 4 points or less.
Right, and Weaver sort of been playing the spoiler this entire year. They've gotten a couple of teams like that.
In fact, as we mentioned, Westbrook Christian was one of those that Weaver was able to upset on the road last week, as Weaver still has an opportunity to get in the postseason as they've won 3 of their last 4 ball games. As they take on J.B. Pennington, that could be a very interesting ball game as far as those 2 teams here in about 30 minutes. But right now, Weaver and Westbrook Christian going at it to see which one of these 2 teams punches their ticket into the postseason. It's also senior night, the final home game of the season for Walter Wellborn. That's traditionally been one of the toughest environments for visiting teams to come in and play at under long-time head coach Jeff Smith. And, of course, for Westbrook Christian, it's another familiar face that just took over last year. And Steve Smith has a young squad, but at least from talking with Coach Jeff Smith, he thinks they have a lot of potential as far as the Westbrook Christian program to continue to grow.
Absolutely. When you got a coach like Steve Smith, hey, you have nothing but, promise in the future, provided he get the kids out and get them healthy like he's done in the past.
A do-or-die game tonight here at the Hill. Last week up at Jacksonville, it was also a do-or-die game for Jacksonville and St. Clair County as Jacksonville grounded and pounded their way into a Class 5A playoff spot. Gives English, has some running room and bounces out and has a lot of running room, and he'll be running for a while. He could go. Could he go the length of the field? To the 10, 5, say goodbye. Touchdown for Jacksonville. Number 2, Zay. There's a toss down the field. An open receiver on the wheel route is complete as the fumble inside the goal line. And it stays in bounds as Jacksonville is able to recover. As Honor winds up, tosses, has a receiver down the field and complete at the 40-yard line. And Ace tosses, has a receiver, and it's complete at the 35 of St. Clair County as Zay English gets free and he'll go to the house for the touchdown. Give goes to Ellis, big head of steam as he's into the secondary and he turns on the Jets. One defender to beat, and he does for the touchdown. Landon Smith once again goes down the field, has a receiver, and that's caught in the end zone. A touchdown for Doutherd. Here's the throw down the field. Wide open receiver complete at the 40-yard line as Jeremiah Thomas comes up with a big-time reception on. There you take a look at him along with Doutherd as there's a quick throw to the far side complete and banging his way into the end zone. A touchdown for Travell Jones. Hold, kick on the way, plenty of leg, and it is good. Line to reach the 31. Bonner throws down the field, has a receiver in TJ Wilson, and he makes the catch at the goal line as he'll be spotted at the 2. As Bonner will keep, play continues, no flag on the play as Bonner finds his way to the end zone and in for the exclamation point.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Does the crawl space in your home look like this? Standing water and high humidity are the perfect makings for mold and wood rot, and that means expensive damages to your home. Solve the problem with a call to the experts at S&H Waterproofing and Construction. They've been turning this into this for over a quarter century. Protect your greatest investment with a free assessment today. Get quality work at a guaranteed lower price. S&H Waterproofing and Construction.
A big-time opportunity for one of Westbrook Christian or Walter Wellborn to advance their way into the Class 3A playoffs. James Hardy, Coach Eddie Bullock, as we'll bring in our own Jim Jacobs as we continue our countdown to kickoff presented by Tillerson Bend Campground, because a big one here at the Hill, but still some big ones, especially in Class 3A Region 6 as we come to the final regular season week of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of interesting that we're looking at Jacksonville and Anniston here in our first game tonight. Of course, we saw Jacksonville last week, James, and You know, they have a great running attack, I think, but they're suspect to the long ball.
That's exactly right, and we saw a little bit of that on both ends last week against St. Clair County, but impressive game plan from Coach Clint Smith in their win against St. Clair County. But I think Anderson's a bit more polished athletically than what we saw from St. Clair County. So I think Anderson's going to take the home win tonight to close out the regular season.
All right, champ, what about it?
Well, I think it's going to boil down to whether or not Anderson is that highly penalized team or that less penalized team. But as James said, they got the athletes to do what it takes, and I'm going to say that Anderson's going to be that less penalized team, and they're going to beat Jacksonville at home.
All right, let's bring in Shasta Jones from down on the sidelines and get her take on Jacksonville and the Bulldogs.
Man, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be that's a tough one to pick. After seeing the Golden Eagles last week, I'm going to go for Jacksonville.
All right, she's got Jacksonville. I got to go with the Bulldogs at home. If we were playing up the road, I'd take the Golden Eagles, but I like Anniston tonight to get the W there at Lot Mosby. All right, next up, this is an interesting ball game. Oxford on the road tonight, Eddie, trying to put a period on a perfect regular season.
Absolutely, and Oxford has been tremendously good this year. They look well. But I think they're going in there, and Florence has a pretty good team up there. And, I think they're going to have a little tougher task on the road, even though they have proven themselves yet. And, I don't know if they may put in the effort to go undefeated or not. So I'm going to go with Florence at home.
I said early on today when I was talking to some folks that I thought this was a real trap game for the Yellow Jackets tonight, but I'm not going to pick against them. I'm going to try to keep their mojo going. I like Oxford on the road tonight against Florence to complete that perfect regular season. Shasta?
I just, like usual, I got to go with the Yellow Jackets. I got to believe in them and that they're going to put out the W tonight.
James?
I think Oxford's been battle-tested all throughout the season with their region and non-region schedule, including that 11-point win against Clay Chalkville. So I like Oxford to close out the season, the regular season, undefeated.
So everybody thinks it could happen, but nobody will pick it, huh? Oxford on the road tonight. Well, Eddie picked Florence, so we'll see. All right, up next in our big ones this week, here's J.B. Pennington at Weaver. And, James, this is one of those puzzle pieces for this crazy 3A Region 6.
It is indeed, and give a lot of credit to Coach Ken Kofer and his Weaver Bearcats and Caden Gooden for what they could have easily just folded the tent and just played out the string the rest of the season, but they put themselves in position with some of the best play in the region the last 3 weeks, including a near miss at home against Piedmont. And I like that hot streak to continue. I'm going to pick Weaver at home to give themselves an opportunity for the postseason.
All right, Eddie, what do you think?
Well,
you've seen this before.
Right. James took the words right out of my mouth. I totally agree with everything he said, and I think Weaver gets it done at home.
All right, picking the Bearcats tonight. I like Weaver in this one as well. I think Coach Kofer's done a great job. They have found themselves in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And, Eddie, you're a coach. When something happens and that switch flips, it's a magical thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I tell you, it's even more amazing watching them from the spring to the first 5 games and then the second 5 games. You're absolutely right.
Shasta?
I've got to agree with each of you. I'm going to go with the Bearcats, and after seeing the improvements they've had this season, and believe they're going to come out with a win tonight.
All right, so Weaver, the all-across-the-board pick for all of us. This is an interesting game as well. Pat Prestridge is a great football coach and has done a really spectacular job down at Randolph County. But because of the way some of the regions have shifted in the last classification, we haven't heard too much about them this season. But they go up the road tonight and take on Coach Rob at Hoax Bluff, and that's going to be a heck of a football game, Eddie.
Right, I absolutely agree. But I think Hoax Bluff is going to bring a more physicality in that game, and with them being at home, I think eventually it'll wear on Randolph County. So I'm going with Hoax Bluff at home.
All right, Hoax Bluff, the Eagles tonight. Shasta, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Eddie on that one. I believe Hoax Bluff was going to pull this one out after we watched them play recently, so I think they got it.
I think this will be a competitive ball game, but Randolph County's given up some points the last 4 weeks, including 68 about 3 weeks ago at Glenwood. So I like Hoax Bluff to pull it out to close the regular season.
I think this game is close through the first trip to the concession stand, Coach. And then I believe it belongs to Coach Rob, and they'll start getting ready for the playoffs next Friday night. All right, next up in our big ones this week, interesting ball game here. Southside, who is on a roll. I think they've won 6 of their last games. They're on the road to take on Pell City tonight, who, believe it or not, is in the playoffs this year. So got a couple of decent ball clubs here with seasons that have kind of turned around for them both. What do you think, Eddie?
Well, and you're absolutely right. Pell City's been playing well, and in the playoffs, and it's just kind of tough. I think Southside may be just a little bit more experienced than them, and I just think Southside is going to go down there and take a close game. I think they're going to pull it out in the end, though.
Yeah, I like the Panthers to do this one as well over at Pete Rich. Shasta, your turn.
I got Southside as well.
And, James, you get a chance to put a period on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, give a lot of credit as well to Nick Gentry for his doing a great job for his very first season at Pell City to get them into the postseason. A dress rehearsal for the postseason for both teams. But, yeah, due to the experience, as Eddie mentioned, I like Southside to take it on the road tonight.
So, Southside, the odds-on favorite for all of us in that matchup. Pisgah and Sylvania. Interesting little game here up on the mountain. Pisgah, number 1 team in 1A in the state, and they've got to go take on a Sylvania team that's had a pretty good season as well. What do you think, Eddie?
Well, I think Pisgah, after beating Fife, I don't think they're going to have a letdown at Sylvania, even though Sylvania has a great team, and I don't think Pisgah can afford to do that. I think they're going to go there and take a win.
James?
Interesting ball game, one that'll go right down to the wire. I'm going to pick the home team and Sylvania.
I'm going to go with Pisgah. I'm not going against that. They got a perfect season working pretty much, and they beat Fife earlier in the year. That's good enough for me. I like Pisgah. Shasta?
I'm going to go with you on that one, Jim. I'm going to pick Pisgah as well.
All right, so Pisgah there in that one. All right, here's one that's not too far from us here, just over the mountain. Cedar Bluff and Donahoe tonight, Coach. What do you think?
Well, I really hadn't got an opportunity to see either one of those teams play or know a whole lot about them, but I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with the win there. I think Cedar Bluff is gonna go in and get a victory.
All right, Shasta, you're up.
I'm going to go with Donahoe on this one.
Okay, give it to the Falcons taking on Cedar Bluff. It's been a tough year for Cedar Bluff, James. I got to go with Donahoe.
I agree. Donahoe playing their best football down the stretch of the season, and, yeah, I like Donahoe at home to win.
All right, and that gets us to what we're here for tonight. Of course, we don't pick the game that we're doing here at the Hill tonight, but we can darn sure talk about it. Westbrook Christian and the Wellborn Panthers, couple of Smiths going at it, Eddie, and you know them both very well.
Hey, I just got through speaking to both of them coming up to the booth there. I told them, and I saw Coach Short in the end zone, and I told him, I said, hey, it's great to be on the field with 3 legends, one to my left, one to my right, and one in the end zone. So, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing some football.
James, you've talked to both of these guys getting ready to prep for this week. What are they both saying at this point?
Well, especially for Coach Jeff Smith being out at their practice on Wednesday, injuries has kind of been an issue the last few weeks, especially last week. Coach Smith felt like that they played really well through the first half at Piedmont, but just didn't have enough depth to at least sustain that into the second half. And I'd expect Walter Wellborn to keep the ball on the ground. And as we mentioned at the top of the telecast, Jim, Westbrook Christian, that we'll talk about throughout the telecast, they're a very young squad. A lot of sophomores and freshmen on Coach Steve Smith's roster this year, so a lot of promise, especially offensively. So I'm interested, especially with both of these teams suffering some narrow losses through the last month of the season, just how well both of these teams display that poise as well as just confidence for a huge, huge ball game tonight.
You know, and I think it's really interesting, Coach, that this last game of the regular season basically comes down to perform to advance or get your basketball shoes out.
Absolutely, and it's going to it's going to tell which team, Wellborn has injuries, so they playing less experienced guys, trying to sub them in, and of course Coach Smith has young guys over there, so it's going to tell which young guys step up and which team, execute their game plan the best.
Our countdown to kickoff clock is down to 11 minutes and 30-some-odd seconds, and that's going to do it for all of our big ones this week. Enjoy the great game that's ahead, and should be a lot of fun to watch this one. James, it's in your hands, my friend.
Absolutely. And after tonight, we'll begin postseason play next week all across the state of Alabama, but still one more week of games tonight when it comes to the 2024 regular season. Our Tillerson Bend Campground countdown to kickoff continues. We'll take this time out, and then we'll have the toss of the coin, our captain's meetings, and kickoff after this time.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
At Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
Our Tillerson Bend Campground countdown to kickoff here on the Bluefin F&N High School Football Game of the Week continues as the captains for both teams make their way out to midfield. James Hardy, Coach Eddie Bullock, Jim Jacobs, Shasta Jones, and our FNN crew with you. We'll hear from referee Ken Turner here in just a little bit, as there will be a at least ceremonial coin toss for Walter Wellborn tonight as part of the coin toss, at least from the statement that we got from head coach Jeff Smith. Flipping the coin for tonight's game is Ked Harris. He was the team captain for the Walter Wellborn Panthers in 2017. Ked is the brother of Aaron Tootie Harris, who we tragically lost on this day 13 years ago. We will never forget Tootie and the impact he had on this football team, school, and community. Thank you, Ked, and go Panthers. And there you take a look at the 2024 captains, at least the senior class for Walter Wellborn, as it is their senior night, the final night of the regular season, as they're trying, as well as Westbrook Christian across the way, to punch their way into the Class 3A playoffs. 10 seniors down below us, about ready to make their way to midfield, and 4 captains, as you see across the way, for Westbrook Christian. Taking a look at some of those, Jackson Maratz, as well as Max Legg, Noah Wright, and lineman Jay Caney. So the PA announcer here at the Hill announcing as far as the senior class and the captains to the fans here at the Hill, as we're about 5 minutes or so away from getting at least toe meeting leather here on the final Friday of the regular season. The captains make their way to midfield, as we'll send it down here momentarily to Ken Turner, our AHSAA referee, for our captains meeting and our toss of the coin.
All right, guys. Westbrook back in the car. Nothing special here. Just heads and tails. Kedrick gonna be flipping tonight. He's gonna attempt to catch.
Sean Perez, one of those captains for Walter Wellborn, having a few issues as far as Ken Turner's microphone, as there's the toss of the coin. As Ked Harris leads the toss of the coin, as Westbrook Christian wins the toss, and they decide to defer their option until the second half. Braden Horton, another one of those captains for Walter Wellborn. Also Larry Armand, the third of those four captains, says we have gotten to the finish line for the toss of the coin, as we are about ready to get things started for the first Friday of November, but an all-important final regular season Friday here in the 2024 season. The big thanks to all of our sponsors for joining us tonight, of course, including Tillerson Bend Campground and Bluefin Japanese Sushi and Steakhouse, and also our first time to mention that Advantage Tire and Auto brings you our first quarter. They've taken care of my car and done a very nice job since moving out to this part of the state of Alabama a little over a couple of years ago, and longtime friends of ours here with F&N, just about an extra point kick down Highway 202 from Walter Wellborn High School. Before we get things started, Eddie, for both teams, big game, biggest game of the season, postseason implications on the line, your keys for both teams tonight.
Well, I think it's going to come boil down to the team that execute the game plan the best. You know, I think you have to have less penalties, and probably the more disciplined team is going to be the one that win this game, you know.
Looks like we're about to get our national anthem started, and we'll send it down to the field for our national anthem. Our national anthem here at the Hill, our first visit to the Hill so far in this 2024 season. James Hardy with you, Coach Eddie Bullock alongside me, also Shasta Jones down on the sideline. A couple of outstanding veteran coaches going at it, matching wits to see which of their teams makes it into the 2024 Class 3A playoffs. Steve Smith, as far as his career record, 293 wins, so just 7 wins shy of 300 coming in for his career coming in to tonight. And for speaking of the other Coach Smith that we'll be seeing tonight, Coach Jeff Smith, we'll be hearing from both of those coaches at some point during halftime. Coach Jeff Smith, a veteran career himself, 18 wins shy of 200, 182 wins in total, and 106 wins at Walter Wellborn, his alma mater. Westbrook Christian makes their way out onto the field as they'll occupy the far sideline and awaiting the entrance to the Hill on senior night for Walter Wellborn. The Panthers come in at 5-3. They're on a 3-game losing streak as both teams have had more than their fair share of heartbreak, as here comes the Panthers of Walter Wellborn. Undefeated in region play in Class 3A Region 4 a season ago. They won their first 4 region games to begin the year, but they've lost 3 in a row. And Westbrook Christian, they come in having lost their last 2, both by a field goal after they had won 3 in a row. So inconsistency displayed by both teams tonight. As you take a look at the pregame prayer huddle for Walter Wellborn and Coach Jeff Smith. Important game tonight. I'm very interested to see just how poised these two teams come out tonight as far as how they handle this type of ball game.
Well, you got 2 veterans coaches out there, so I know they're well prepared, and I think it's just going to be who executes their game plan the best right here. You know, I think both of these coaches done pretty much seen about everything you can see out on a football field.
As you mentioned, a couple of veteran coaches going at it for Walter Wellborn as well as Westbrook Christian. Steve Smith in his second season over in Rainbow City with Westbrook Christian after a lengthy career, a legendary career over at Piedmont. Looks as if Reed Barber ready to get things kicked off. Westbrook Christian, they're in their white tops with the red bottoms, and the home blacks, the black tops, white bottoms for Walter Wellborn. So the Panthers get the ball on offense to begin this first Friday of November as Barber booms it into and out of the end zone for a touchback. Went over the head that time with Jackson Newton, as we'll see Walter Wellborn likely keep it on the ground tonight, as that's been really the customary trademark as far as that ground and pound attack over the years.
Yeah, hey, that's Coach Jeff Smith's MO right there. He won 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
Isaiah Amberson, the sophomore at quarterback. You'll have Roy Williams, Kyle Bright, and Jackson Newton as the trio of backs. Pitch goes to Newton, has room around the right side, and he's off to the races. Down the sideline as he's wrestled out of bounds as he gets into Westbrook Christian territory inside the 45-yard line. An explosive play, Eddie, right off the bat.
Well, they had him outlined from the beginning. That was just a toss to the home side, and normally, you know, believe it or not, most coaches usually run their first play to their sideline, and that's what Coach Smith did. He ran a toss to his sideline, and if he had breakaway speed, he'd have walked in the end zone.
Gain of 38 on the first play of the game. Right up the middle, and big running room for Williams as he's off to the end zone, and he scores 2 plays and the first score of the game for Walter Wellborn. 42 yards on the touchdown run for Roy Williams as Walter Wellborn off to a fast start.
Well, it's just a straight dive up the middle right there. You're going to see right here, you're going to see him. He's going to he's just going to come straight up in this area right here, and those guys going to block down right there. You get a trap block right there. It's just a regular trap.
2-point conversion try coming up. Newton off the right side as he gets wrapped up and taken down. As the 2-point conversion try is no good, as we'll take our first time out. Walter Wellborn up 6-0 here on the Bluefin F&N High School Football Game of the Week.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
Ray Williams, a 42-yard touchdown scamper as Walter Wellborn needs just 16 seconds and 2 plays to strike first. Advantage Tire and Auto on Highway 202 brings us our first quarter. As we're about set for the first Walter Wellborn kickoff of the night. Ray Williams with the end-over-end kick fielded about the 23-yard line. As angling toward at least the far hash mark that time for Westbrook Christian was Brody Wood as he advances the football to about the 35-yard line. Our first look at the Warriors of Westbrook Christian as Brody Blevins, a young sophomore quarterback, 6 foot, 180 pounds, as he'll have Max Jones and Brody Wood as his running backs. And the receivers, Brody Johnson, Bo Kilgo, and Beckham Hammondtree. A little bit different look as opposed to Walter Wellborn. The spread look for Westbrook Christian. A bobbled snap that time. Nice poise that time as an iCare Alabama first down run that time for Brody Blevins as he advances the football into Walter Wellborn territory at the Panthers' 48-yard line.
Well, and they just got out of their defensive gaps right there. That was a bobble snap, and normally when you get outside your gaps, man, that's a disaster, recipe for disaster.
Gain of 17 on first down. First down of this possession for Westbrook Christian. We'll go over the offensive line here in a moment. Another drop snap that time as the throw up for grabs and just throwing it out of bounds that time was Blevins. Let's take a look at the Westbrook Christian offensive line. It's Caden Sanders at left tackle, Jonah Valentine at left guard, Cooper Lancaster the center, Eric Kilpatrick the right guard, and Hudson Lowe is the right tackle. So solid decision that time off of a drop snap by Blevins to just get the ball onto his own sideline and play for another down. 2nd and 10 from the Walter Wellborn 48-yard line. 4-man front for the Panthers. Give goes to Wood, and he's going to get maybe a couple of yards to the 46-yard line as we'll take a look at the Walter Wellborn defense. You'll have up front Kyle Bright along with Ethan Carroll as the defensive ends. Dozier Hayes, the defensive tackle. Larry Armand is the nose guard. Linebackers of Ray Williams and Jackson Pope, the outside backers, and Isaiah Amberson is the middle linebacker. Nick Morrow, Christian Williams, Jackson Newton, and Demarion Tippins are the defensive backs. 3rd and 8. Pressure coming as Blevins takes off, and he gets the iCare Alabama first down, and he has his sights on the end zone to the 10, 5, and taken down just shy of the goal line. And once again, a heady play that time, Eddie, by Blevins as he gets the first down conversion on the scramble.
Well, just bad angles by Webb, and defensively, he should have been sacked in the backfield for a tackle for a loss, but his athleticism was able, he dead-legged a couple of guys, and he was able to make a move, and he's knocking on the doorstep right now.
Gain of 45 on 3rd down and 6 that time for Blevins, the quarterback. We had he and Kilgo on Tuesday for our Tuesday night coaches show. 1st and goal from the 1. Direct snap and the carry toward the end zone, and looks as if that indeed that Blevins able to get in for the touchdown. So fittingly, Brody Blevins able to finish off after that 45-yard run and power it in, Eddie, from 1 yard out. So a 1-yard touchdown run ties up the ball game as it's 6-all. The PAT coming up to try and give Westbrook Christian their first lead.
And the way teams are scoring now, this right here may be the difference in the game. Right?
There's the PAT up and successful for Reed Barber as we'll take the timeout. 10:01 to go first quarter. I beg your pardon, the extra point no good as we're tied up at 6 apiece. Westbrook Christian and Walter Wellborn early in the first quarter.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver Card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
The Bluefin Japanese Steakhouse and Sushi Game of the Week on FNN is sponsored in part by Southeastern Utility Services, Victory Law, Talladega Short Track, McMichael Waste Services, JMac HVAC, and Keepin' Clean. Now, more of tonight's Game of the Week on the Friday Night Network.
Barber with the end-over-end kick as that lands into and out of the end zone for the touchback. The Bluefin F&N High School Football Game of the Week also brought to you by our friends from McMichael Waste. As we appreciate you joining us tonight, and also, once again, shout out to Advantage Tire and Auto for bringing us our first quarter, and also all throughout this season from Anniston Memorial, Hoax Bluff, Glencoe Funeral Home. Both teams short work as far as their first opening drives of the game, as they were both able to score touchdowns within 5 plays. Westbrook Christian, a 5-play drive, just 2 plays for Walter Wellborn, as Ray Williams gets bottled up this time as he'll lose a couple of yards. We didn't get a chance really to take a look at either the Walter Wellborn offense or Westbrook Christian defense as our first look at Luke Thompson, who comes up from his safety position to make the tackle. Lone receiver starting tonight for Walter Wellborn is Jackson Clark. Ethan Carroll is the tight end. Gage Gardner and Sawyer Thomas the tackles, Brody Greenwood and Parker Williams the guards, and Dozier Hayes the center. Second and long as the quick toss is complete to Carroll as he gets an I-Care Alabama first down. Check that, Ray Williams, he's off into the open field, rumbling and stumbling inside the 10-yard line. Williams already with a touchdown. And let's see if there's a flag behind the play. I don't see one, as we'll take another look at Ray Williams stumble his way down the field for another big play.
Well, you got a flag right back there on the 30-yard line.
So it looks as if this is going to come all the way back.
It was a great play call, and, James, right down on the run down there, they had a potential block.
Personal foul, blindside block on the offense.
Killer penalty that time. You have your doubts whether that was a blindside block or not, Eddie.
He got him, but it wasn't, if you go with the hands, I believe they're supposed to let it go right there. He got him, but he took out 2 of them, and that was the reason why I think they may have gotten that call. But
well, that'll move the football 15 yards further back as they started this drive at the 20, and now it's I beg your pardon, it's a 15-yard penalty, but half the distance, so they'll move it back to the 10-yard line.
It's a great play call, though, by Coach Smith, a great play call.
We'll add 5 to that 10, make it officially the 15-yard line. So still second and long. Amberson under center. As the play fake and the throw goes out of bounds, as that is incomplete. We'll take a look at the Westbrook Christian defense in total. Isaiah Hooton and Easton Skaggs, and we'll also see some Cooper Lancaster at the defensive end spots. Jake Haney, the nose guard. Jason Maratz and Titus Jones, the outside linebackers. Noah Wright and Wesley Whiteside, the inside linebackers. Carter Cothran and Jackson Ramsey, the corners. Luke Thompson and Max Legg are your safeties. Not a position that Coach Jeff Smith wants his offense. Third down and very long.
Well, they got to throw it right here. He's not going to run it, though. He got to roll out and throw something deep right there.
Amberson under pressure, feels the heat, and goes down. So Westbrook Christian able to get their stop as Easton Skaggs comes in on the sack. Just not any time that time, and that's just not the type of position that Walter Wellborn excels in on offense.
No, they're not a 3rd and 20 team or 3rd and 17 team,
So our first punt of the night after Walter Wellborn needed just 2 plays to score their first touchdown, and Westbrook Christian about to get the ball after they had a 5-play touchdown drive.
And again, we go back to penalties because they were actually on the verge of scoring again. And
Amberson, a wobbly short punt, gets a Walter Wellborn roll, but fielded about the Walter Wellborn 43-yard line as the Westbrook Christian Warriors are going to get some excellent field position off of that short punt, as getting about an 8-yard return was Bo Kilgo. So they're going to set up shop inside the 40 at the 38-yard line. So this is a great starting field position for Westbrook Christian. Both teams looking to punch their way into the Class 3A playoffs. Now, Locust Fork and Piedmont have already secured home spots as the top two teams in the region. So the other two teams will have to go on the road next week. Blevins carried his team down the field as he'll have a short pass complete to the far side to Brody Johnson as he turns the corner for a solid 5, maybe 6 yards. As he gets inside the 35, they'll mark him out of bounds a little closer to the 35-yard line. Under 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter, both teams have been able to score a touchdown. Walter Wellborn missed their 2-point conversion while Westbrook Christian missed an extra point kick. So all knotted up at 6 apiece. Advantage Tire and Auto brings you our first quarter. Play fake and the throw. Blevins down the field and just overthrown, intended for Johnson. That looked like a really good throw, Eddie, just a tad too long that time.
Yeah, he didn't put enough air up on it. He had it more vertical pass versus putting the air up on it, letting it drop in.
Now, Johnson had gotten behind his defensive back that time for Walter Wellborn. Looked like a substitution for Coach Jeff Smith's squad as Christian Williams had come in. Third down. Line to reach the 28 for the first down. Could be 4-down territory. Blevins, a lot of running room, has the iCare Alabama first down as he's wrapped up inside the 25-yard line, and the drive continues on that designed quarterback run.
Right. Well, they blitzed both of the inside linebackers through the A gap, but his defensive line is just not. They don't have gap integrity, and he's running a wide a C gap play, and that's what's happening.
And something that Coach Steve Smith mentioned to me earlier this week while he was at the FNN Coaches Show is that he's using Brody Blevins very similar to what we saw from Jack Hayes at Piedmont just a couple years ago. Play fake, quick throw, complete to the near side. Kilgo gets out of one tackle, but sandwiched and taken down about the 15-yard line. You take a look at 3 Walter Wellborn defenders that time, Tippins as well as Newton on the tackle.
And I'm surprised they're giving that much cushion. I mean, typical teams don't get that big of a cushion because if you get that cushion, they're going to throw to stay.
Looks like the football just maybe inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. Still enough for a solid 5 yards. Second down. Give goes right up the middle to Wood as he bounces it off to the near side and gets inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. So it sets up a third down. Or check that, let's say, might have been good enough for the iCare Alabama first down. In fact, it was more than good enough for the iCare Alabama first down. First down and goal from the 7-yard line. A little more workmanlike, but still solid production, especially on third down for Blevins and the Westbrook Christian offense, trying to take their first lead of the game as we come to the halfway point of the first quarter. Blevins looks over the D, keeps it himself, and not going to get a whole lot this time as he's thrown on down. Ethan Carroll as well as Dozier Hayes on the tackle for Walter Wellborn.
Well, they had gap integrity that time, and he had nowhere to go. If you got 6 in the box, you know, the analytics said run it, and they got 4 down linemen, 2 inside linebackers, and they spread them out because you got 5, and you got a lead block, and you got the quarterback. So if it's 6 on 6, analytics say run it.
Get ready to hear, especially next year, for a lot of Blevins to Kilgo because they'll both be returning next season.
Well, you got the same situation right there.
Pressure comes. Good protection. Throw all alone back at the end zone and a touchdown for Brody Johnson.
Cornerback just stopped covering. He got caught looking in the backfield. I think he thought they had a sack. You'll see him back in the back. I'm going to circle him out on the replay. Here we go, up top right there. You see him turn out. The cornerback is right there. And you got the receiver out here on his own.
8 yards on the touchdown pass as Barber comes on for the point after. Snap and holder there, and the kick, that is on the way. It is up, and this time it is good. We'll take the timeout. 13-6, Westbrook Christian on top of Walter Wellborn here in the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
.38-yard touchdown drive for Westbrook Christian, capped off by a 2nd and goal 8-yard touchdown pass from Blevins to Brody Johnson. Reed Barber ready for another kickoff. End-over-end kick as that goes in and out of the end zone. So already a couple of, actually 3 touchbacks tonight, including the opening kickoff of tonight's ball game. Also, each and every week, S&H Waterproofing helps bring you our FNN High School Football Game of the Week. A big thanks to all of our sponsors for joining us tonight and all throughout this 2024 season as we'll begin our playoff coverage. Remember, as far as game time goes, be sure to get your subscriptions in to FNN over on the NFHS network. Walter Wellborn. They begin at the 20 as the quick pitch off to the near side, and good blocking and actually a very solid run that time for, looks like Newton, as he was able to follow his blocking and get some solid yardage on first down.
Great job on the toss. And there again, they're trying to seal that edge and let him turn up on the outside, but the safety was actually able to come up this time and make a play.
Jackson Newton with the carry as he's able to get 4 to set up a 2nd down and 6. Amberson goes under center. Quick give to Ray Williams as he bangs his way at least a little closer to the first down as he needs to get to the 30, but stopped for about a couple of yards. So still a 3rd and very manageable coming up.
Well, same series of plays. They went toss on the first series to the left side, and they went trap back to the wide side, and they did the same thing. They just ran a trap.
Williams has a 42-yard touchdown run so far tonight for Walter Wellborn as the Panthers face a big 3rd down and 2. Receiver coming in motion. Amberson keeps quarterback power off the right side. Hit once. Second effort won't, well, we'll see where they spot this football. Needed the 30, and I think that second effort, Eddie, just might have gotten Amberson enough yardage for the first down.
Yeah, I think he got it there.
Yeah, I thought that Westbrook Christian might have stopped him momentarily. In fact, they did, but give credit to Amberson for fighting for enough yards for the first down. An I-Care Alabama first down as the drive continues for Walter Wellborn. Back-to-back touchdowns, 13 unanswered points for Westbrook Christian after Walter Wellborn scored in 2 plays on their opening drive. Off the right side. Looks like Newton that time as he's able to get maybe a couple of yards. Main game plan, at least from what Coach Jeff Smith told me on Wednesday, was to keep the ball on the ground, especially with the way that we've seen Westbrook Christian spread the football out and score fairly quickly. And this is a big drive for Coach Smith as far as just getting his defense a little bit of rest.
I think
looks like we have a stoppage in play momentarily.
his helmet popped off there. I think he caught a helmet to the face when his helmet popped off.
Ooh, yeah, see, looks like a towel over his face. I'm sure that doesn't feel good as he'll get a little bit of TLC with Jackson Newton on the sideline. So 2nd down coming up. One lone wide receiver in Clark as the pitch comes to the near side. As lots of running room, and the first down for Walter Wellborn as they're getting something going on offense as Noah Wright gets the first down. An iCare Alabama first down, but we do have, and I do see the flag on the play. Looked as if that was thrown right when Wright turned the corner. So we've seen already a couple of, actually 3 ball carriers so far tonight. Ray Williams, Jackson Newton, and now Noah Wright as that first down run coming on back.
And these are big runs. I mean, these are momentum changes right here. I mean, you just can't, you can't have that. I mean, you got to get them hands inside the shoulder pad.
They've already had a couple of big penalties so far that have negated first downs. As the underneath kind of counter give that time to Kyle Bright as he doesn't get very much of anything. Under 3 minutes to go here in the opening quarter as Walter Wellborn faces now a 3rd and long as they're going to need the 40-yard line to keep this drive alive.
Right, and you're in another throwing situation. If you don't throw it here, the only thing you can do is draw a screen. And I would have my linebackers, already attuned to watching screens and draws and make them throw it deep.
Amberson goes under center, and he's going to fake. Gets pressure, and he goes down behind the line of scrimmage. Once again, great pressure as you see Wesley Whiteside help out on the sack as he had 2 of his other Warrior teammates help out to make the 3rd down sack.
Well, and he got to step up and throw that. I still think he kind of stepped up into the sack. I think he got to stay back there and just heave that ball. He had a receiver open.
Bo Kilgo retreats to receive the upcoming punt from Isaiah Amberson. So Westbrook Christian should once again have some outstanding field position. Amberson, just a sophomore. Line drive punt to the far side. Gets a nice Walter Wellborn roll as Kilgo lets it roll to the 46 of Westbrook Christian.
It's a great job, too, kicking away from the returner.
So still some excellent field position for Westbrook Christian as we are under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. So far, Blevins has been able to lead his team down the field a couple of times. Brody Blevins with a 1-yard touchdown run as well as an 8-yard touchdown pass. So already a couple of red zone scores for Westbrook Christian on their first 2 drives of the game. So the Warriors come out from the huddle at the far side. Winner of this ball game will punch their ticket into the postseason. Loser will have their season come to an end. Play fake and quick throw goes to the far side. That's complete, but good recognition that time on the part of Walter Wellborn's secondary. As the stop made on Kilgo, I believe. So it's going to go maybe no gain that time. Looks like Sean Perez was able to come up for the stop that time. This will be a 2nd down. Actually, they'll say a loss of a couple. Check that Brody Johnson on the catch as he flanks to the far side. Trio of receivers to the near side.
Spreading you out for the quarterback draw right there.
And there you go as Blevins sees the room and gets the iCare Alabama first down as they're going to mark him out of bounds right at the first down sticks.
Well, again, James, he's counting numbers in the box. You got 5 linemen, you got 1 back. That's 6. And if you only got 6 in the box, then he's going to run it.
A lot of RPO principles that we're seeing from Coach Steve Smith's offense tonight. And they're playing very efficiently and taking advantage of the depleted Walter Wellborn secondary.
Well, you're going to have to play some man-to-man coverage, and you're going to have to bring that extra person up in the box right there. And
give goes to Wood right up the middle as he gets some running room for about 7 yards. Looks like Ray Williams is able from the linebacker spot, the outside linebacker spot, to make the tackle. As we're under a minute to go here in the opening quarter as we have an official's timeout. A substitution set to come in for Walter Wellborn. Eli Wickland, our first time to see him. Looking to see a little confusion as far as who he was going to sub in for, and looks like Ethan Carroll a little bit gimpy coming to the sideline. one of the primary leaders for Walter Wellborn the last couple of years.
So you're looking at 6 in the box now, 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers. So
Blevins wants to throw, goes down the middle into coverage, and that is caught inside the red zone by Brody Johnson. Went up against 2 defenders that time, Eddie. Hauled it in for the I-Care Alabama first down.
It's a great throw. He on the threw him right there where only his defender could get it right there. And if you look, he's going to throw the ball. He's going to throw it right there. And only his defender can get that ball, both of them. It's like boxing out in basketball.
Brody Johnson, a big game so far as he gets that first down catch. Quick throw to the far side, bubble screen complete to Kilgo. Gets out of a shoestring tackle that time, and he advances forward, at least inside the red zone, as he was able to get across the original line of scrimmage, made something out of nothing that time as we come to the end of our opening quarter as Westbrook Christian clicking on offense right now as they'll have a second down inside the red zone on the other side of this timeout to begin the second quarter. Westbrook Christian 13 and Walter Wellborn 6 on the Bluefin FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
Cracked foundations and settling floors in your home is not the end of the world. S&H Waterproofing and Construction has trained professionals that will come out, give you a free assessment, and provide a solution to fix your problem. S&H has been in the business of waterproofing crawl spaces, basements, and foundation repair for a quarter century. Get quality work at a guaranteed lower price. To learn more, visit the S&H website, our Facebook page, or call to book your free assessment today. S&H Waterproofing and Construction, superior solutions.
One quarter in the books as Westbrook Christian has the momentum as they're inside the 20-yard line of Walter Wellborn as they're looking for a 2-score advantage. Brody Wood bounces it off the right side, sees the end zone, goes for pay dirt, and scores the Westbrook Christian touchdown.
That's just a bad angle right there. They just Westbrook Christian got a little bit more speed than them.
We'll take a second look at Wood's 15-yard touchdown run. And able to beat Jackson Newton to the corner that time. As Westbrook Christian has scored now 19 unanswered. Reed Barber on for the extra point. Snap, hold, and kick. They are all there as we'll take the timeout. Just underway second quarter. 20-6 in favor of Westbrook Christian here on the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Westbrook Christian 20, Walter Wellborn 6, just underway in the second quarter. As Brody Wood was able to run 15 yards for his first touchdown of the night. Reed Barber ready for another kickoff. Noah Wright as well as Jackson Newton back to receive. Barber already with 3 touchbacks. Looks as if this may be returnable, and it's dropped around the 5-yard line. As Wright able to recover and take it across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. So this is the point, Eddie, early second quarter where Westbrook Christian has all the momentum right now. They're clicking on all cylinders offensively. Walter Wellborn desperately needs to get a time-consuming drive, and not only that, but punch the ball into the end zone.
Yeah, they need to score on this possession right here. It's not the game, but they need to score right here to let them know, hey, we come to fight, because if they don't, it could be an uphill battle the rest of the night.
5 teams in 3A Region 6 playing for 2 spots as Ray Williams gets hit hard, but not after he crosses the 25 to about the 27-yard line. You have coming into tonight Piedmont undefeated at 9-0, 7-0 in region play. They'll have not only the region championship, but a first-round home game next week. Locust Fork second, also home game next week in the first round of the 3A playoffs. They're 5-2 on the season. Then 5 teams from 3rd through 7th have an opportunity to punch their way into the playoffs, as there was a near fumble on the part of Jackson Newton, but he's able to get the ball back. But after he was able to successfully move the sticks on an iCare Alabama first down.
Right, it started coming out, but he was able to recover it.
A sigh of relief that time for Walter Wellborn. Adrenaline tree specialist brings us our second quarter. A little adrenaline popping, I imagine, after that loose ball on the Walter Wellborn sideline.
Absolutely. They can't afford to turn this one over. They got to get some points out of this drive right here.
Here's the keeper for Amberson. Tough yards that time as he goes forward to about the 40-yard line.
Quarterback trap right there.
A solid gain that time of about 3 yards or so. As we'll have a Walter Wellborn substitution. Yancey Hill checks into the ball game for the first time offensively. They'll spot the ball with the nose of the football at the 41-yard line. Senior night for Walter Wellborn as they honored their 10 seniors prior to tonight's game. Williams, not a whole lot, maybe a half yard. Good defense right along the front line for Westbrook Christian as they were able to bottle up Williams, as you had Isaiah Hooton and Wesley Whiteside combined for the tackle.
Well, they got no push off the line of scrimmage that time.
Walter Wellborn scored first on just 2 plays to open up the ball game as Ray Williams was able to lumber 42 yards for the opening touchdown. But it's been 20 unanswered for Westbrook Christian. 3rd and long as Amberson, quick toss, and that is complete for the first down to Williams, as officially he makes his first down, first catch. This for an iCare Alabama first down.
And he threw him right there. If he throw it to him, he's able to pick up more yardage if he get it to him in the air. Williams had to go down to actually catch that ball, and he did a great job going down, securing the catch.
Needed 6 and got 7 that time on 3rd and 6. Football at their own 49-yard line. First completion for Amberson tonight. Amberson gives Newton as he'll run into a stout defensive line that time, but Newton able to carry the pile for a couple of yards, sets up a second down and long. Looks like Noah Wright that time was able to lead the way on the tackle.
Well, it was a trap then, a counter trap.
The familiar wing T look that Walter Wellborn under Jeff Smith is known for offensively, as they've struggled on their last couple of drives and trying to get something going here. Here's the counter give. Nice play to Noah Bright as he turns the corner, has a lot of running room in the iCare Alabama first down. As Kyle Bright, I beg your pardon, able to at least follow that blocking. Well-designed play that time. Other than the touchdown run, Eddie, that might have been the best play we've seen from Walter Wellborn tonight.
Well, they had that underneath handoff right there. Now they had a escort parade out there in front of him, leading him out there. Wellborn just don't have that breakaway speed. If they had a couple of guys with breakaway speed, they could have probably walked in the end zone.
Gain to the Westbrook Christian 27-yard line.
Coach Smith normally have one guy that has that type breakaway speed, but this particular team here don't look like he got that guy.
Give to Newton as he skips out of one tackle, and he sees the end zone and scores. Important touchdown for Walter Wellborn to cut it to a one-score deficit.
Absolutely, and that's a dead leg right there. He set him up. Newton don't have that breakaway speed, so he kind of gave him that dead leg to the inside. Watch him. He going, there it is right there. He dead legged him to the inside and popped it back out.
27 yards on the touchdown run for Jackson Newton. And so a 2-point conversion try coming up.
Absolutely. Now they need to convert this right here.
Off the right side, and Newton able, let's see did they say he's in or not?
I think they ruled him short again.
So short of the end zone, but Walter Wellborn cuts the deficit down to 8 as we're deep into the second quarter. 7:46 to go until halftime. Westbrook Christian leads by 8.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
Jackson Newton with a 27-yard touchdown run cuts the Westbrook Christian lead down to 8. As we'll see our second Walter Wellborn kickoff of the night. Adrenaline Tree Specialist presents our second quarter. As Walter Wellborn at least back within striking distance, as we'll have a Ray Williams kickoff upcoming. Westbrook Christian has scored on all 3 of the drives that they've had so far tonight. Cordell Martin is the deep man for Westbrook Christian. Also Wood back to receive. Goes a little bit short to the 27-yard line as Wood gets minimal yards, but good effort to get additional yardage out to about the 32-yard line. Check that. Number 27, the first time we've called Charles Michael's name for Westbrook Christian tonight as the Warriors take over first down and 10. Our FNN Game of the Week brought to you each and every week by our good friends of East Alabama. When it comes to F&M Bank, service, solutions, and strength isn't just a tagline, a tradition of excellence in this part of Alabama for F&M Bank. A back and forth game as far as one of those 3A Region 6 games that could determine the playoff field out of Region 6. As the quick throw and the RPO complete, but excellent open field tackle by Jackson Newton as he gets a big play defensively for a tackle for loss.
And that's how you have to play that. You got to be aggressive. You know, earlier I mentioned they were sitting back and giving them a 7-8 yard cushion, and those guys that Coach Steve Smith has, you know, they make excellent moves. They got good speed.
Big loss on the play for the Warriors of 5 yards as that moves the football inside the 30-yard line to about the 28. And last report, J.B. Pennington has a 14-13 lead over Weaver. That's one of those games that'll determine who goes into postseason play. Out of Class 3A Region 6, Blevins up the middle. A lot of running room as he spun down and taken down about a yard shy of the first down. On 2nd and 15, gets about 4. No, they'll say give him a favorable spot and say that is enough for an iCare Alabama first down.
Got a toe spot on that one.
That's a 15-yard gain on a 2nd and 15, so the drive continues on a first down play coming up for Westbrook Christian. Westbrook Christian has scored successfully on all 3 drives tonight. Blevins fakes, loads up, throws down the field, has a receiver, and It is caught. A big I Care Alabama first down for Brody Johnson. Beautiful throw that time, Eddie, by Brody Blevins as he was able to hook up with Johnson.
Right, and he just running by. This is speed I'm talking about. He got a 10-yard cushion, and he just ran by the defensive back. Defensive back just looking in the backfield, never made a play on the football.
Went by Christian Williams, the cornerback, and a great throw to allow only Brody Johnson to reel in the grab. Football inside the 25. Wood on the carry as he's able to get a couple of yards to set up a second down and long situation. Next week, we'll be rolling out the red carpet for postseason time as all 7 classifications will begin postseason play, and we'll be making the trip up to Southside as Mountain Brook will open their 6A postseason play up at Southside at Barney Hood Stadium. 6:30 for our countdown to kickoff, and remember to get your NFHS subscription to see us as far as when it comes to 7 o'clock. Wood gets free as he goes into the end zone. Touchdown for Westbrook Christian. 23 yards on the touchdown run, and right now Walter Wellborn defensively has no answers for Westbrook Christian's offense.
Absolutely. They just got holes in the defense. I mean, they're running through them like water.
Wood, his second touchdown run of the quarter, as Reed Barber, a busy man so far tonight, comes out for the PAT. Score up to 26-12. Little high snap, no worries on the hold, and the kick is up and good. We'll take the timeout. 5:35 to go until halftime, 27-12 in favor of Westbrook Christian here on the Bluefin FNN High School Football Game of the Week.
At I Care Alabama, our goal is to meet the needs of every patient. Dr. Dwayne Mohan and Dr. Ryan Price always strive for excellent outcomes. We want each patient to get the best vision and medical care possible. At I Care Alabama, we utilize all the latest technological advances to ensure that you receive the best quality eye care. So call for an appointment at any of our 4 locations in Piedmont, Heflin, Roanoke, or Atala and see the difference. Most insurance is accepted. I Care Alabama. Efficient, effective eye care close to home.
Westbrook Christian so far 4 for 4 on touchdown drives as they have a 27-12 lead here at the Hill on the west side of Anniston. Barber, a little pooch kick, goes to the far side as it's fielded about the 29-yard line. As returned by one of the Panthers' up men, takes it up to about the 36-yard line. So decent field position for Walter Wellborn as Adrenaline Tree Specialist brings you our second quarter. So another must-score drive, at least, for Walter Wellborn, especially the way that Westbrook Christian is just really without any sort of resistance been able to score tonight.
Yeah, they're moving football fairly easy, and that's not typical of one of Jeff Smith's defense. I'm sure he'll make adjustments at halftime, but right now they're just running through them.
Amberson goes back under center. Quick pitch goes to Newton. Tries to read the blocking on the outside, but he's going to be taken down for a loss. Nice pursuit and contained that time as Jackson Ramsey, one of those 3 or 4 defenders, help out on the stop.
Well, and the difference is, if we can see that, is that Westbrook is getting upfield, and once they get upfield, it's basically stopping Wellborn. Whereas Wellborn is standing back catching Westbrook, they letting them turn the corner, and Westbrook has too much speed to let them turn the corner.
Loss of 1 for Jackson Newton. Second and long. Williams right up the middle, a big hole as he breaks out of a couple of tackles, and extra effort almost gets him the first down to the 45-yard line. I'm sure even if Westbrook Christian does come out with a win tonight, some of those defenders trying to tackle Ray Williams, they're going to need a lot of bags of ice from the Grub Mart to be able to kind of soak down after tonight's game.
Absolutely. An ice bath will be needed.
Of course, the Grub Mart, one of our fine sponsors here in the F&N High School Football Game of the Week. Home of the Oleo Donuts, a bucket of popcorn, and a whole lot more. All throughout the F&N coverage area. They say just enough for Williams that he got an eye-care Alabama first down as Newton off right end. Second effort maybe gets him across the line of scrimmage for about a yard.
See, Westbrook is getting penetration, and that's all they want to do. On the wing tee, if you get penetration and you bottle it up, it can't go anywhere.
So second down, and they'll mark the football about the 47-yard line as Newton gets a breather. And also we'll have a fresh sub for Walter Wellborn as Demarion Tippins checks in. Also Jordan Newton into the game. Second down and long. Underneath give goes to Bright as he gets wrapped up in Westbrook Christian, ready for it that time. Ramsey and also the defensive end Easton Skaggs on the tackle for loss.
Well, and you know, again, if we could see that, you know, if we get an opportunity, Jim, and we can see it again, it's just too much penetration right here. Watch. Look at the penetration right there. You're getting penetration, and once they get penetration, you know, the players bottle up.
Nothing doing that time as Westbrook Christian's defense more than ready for that counter give. 3rd and 12. Jet sweep off to the near side, and nothing doing that time for Christian Williams. As after a first down, a solid job recovering that time by Westbrook Christian, as you had Titus Jones as well as the corner Carter Cothran help out on the tackle.
Well, you got penetration again. I mean, they're just getting penetration in.
Ray Williams about to, or check that Amberson, I beg your pardon, line up for the punt.
Yeah, I was about to say, if I'm coach, hey, you got to try to punt this football and flip the field.
And there's a directional kick to the far side. Let's see where they mark it out of bounds. Looks like the near side official is going to mark it right at midfield, so that punt didn't officially travel very far. Or check that further upfield is still not a very lengthy punt, as it's going to result in rock solid field position for Westbrook Christian, as they have a chance to really put them some separation between themselves and Walter Wellborn.
And see, that's just you know, again, executing the game plan. It's just a terrible punt right there. I mean, you should kick that ball to your sideline back, and even if you get a touchback, you still flip the field right there. But you don't want to, as well as they throw in the football, and you don't want to get them the ball almost at midfield.
Brody Blevins and the Warriors offense have scored on all of their drives so far tonight.
Got 6 in the box.
Play fake, pump fake, throw down the field, receiver open, Johnson complete as he's wrapped up at the 20-yard line. A first down reception as the tackle made by Christian Williams to prevent a touchdown.
He's looking in the backfield. He keeps looking in the backfield. I mean, it's just.
That was just pitch and catch that time, Eddie.
That's all it is. That's a deep post right there. And the cornerback over there, he's just looking in the backfield. Right now, he's.
Gain of 34 that time on the combo of Blevins to Brody Johnson.
In football vernacular, he's getting torched over there.
Oh, that he is, and a little bit more.
I mean, he just.
Clock stops with 1:54 to go until halftime. We'll hear from Coach Steve Smith coming off the field into the halftime locker room, and we'll hear from Coach Jeff Smith right before the beginning of the third quarter.
Well, you're talking 3 times out. I can guarantee you he's going back at this kid again, man. He's going to go at him. I mean, he's going to give him probably trips formation down here to the near side, and he's going to put his best receiver up there, and he's going at him. If he don't score a run, there go your formation right there. There go trips in near side.
Under the final 2 minutes of the first half, Blevins keeps, has blocking on the right side, has a lot of running room, and he goes into the end zone. Touchdown for Westbrook Christian. 18 yards on the touchdown run for Blevins, his second touchdown on the ground tonight, 3rd overall.
He just turned it up. Count the numbers right there. You got a lead blocker right there, and he's going up in there.
Yeah, look at that blocking that time by Wood to spring forth Brody Blevins for the touchdown as Reed Barber comes on for the PAT.
But the kicker's going to go to the grub mark to get eyes.
Well, that one gets blocked, however, so the PAT is no good as we'll take the timeout. 33-12, all Westbrook Christian right now. Still $1:25 to go here in the second quarter.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Westbrook Christian has scored on all 5 of their drives tonight as they lead 33-12, approaching halftime here at the Hill on the final Friday of the regular season. Barber set to kick. Booms that away. Fielded about the 6-yard line. Good patience that time by Williams as he's able to return it across the 20 to about the 21-yard line on solid special teams coverage as well from Westbrook Christian. I imagine that is not exactly going to be a very hospitable locker room for Coach Jeff Smith after the way his team has performed so far in the first half.
I don't think so, and they picking on one kid. I mean, they picking on Williams over there at the cornerback. I mean, they're just going at it, man. I mean, he just
rock solid game plan as Steve Smith able to utilize his athletes in space. And also an excellent performance tonight, both on the ground and in the air from Brody Blevins. Amberson under center. As he'll keep it off the right side, and he gets spun around initially, at least by one of the linebackers. And I think that for Westbrook Christian, Noah Wright that time was able to get the tackle.
Well, they're getting penetration again. They're getting, just tremendous penetration up the middle. Now, if he get a good stop here, you'll see him. He'll call a timeout to try to preserve to see if he can get another quick hitter before halftime.
So second down coming up. Second and long to go as the play fake in the wheel route, and that is almost, and that should have been intercepted. Right in the hands that time by Carter Cothran, the cornerback.
Should have been a pick 6 right there.
We'll take a
You
second.
look at the replay right here. You get rushing right there. I'm going to pause it right there. You got the guy wide open, and he has his whole sideline right there if he catch that football.
Yeah, in and out of the hands, what would have been a pick 6 for Cothran. So third down and long. 32-yard line, the line to reach for the first down.
I could have walked in the end zone on that one.
I think you and I could have indeed, Eddie, as the quick pit toss is incomplete. Intended for Ray Williams, as the reception probably would have gotten a first down for Walter Wellborn, but it's going to mean punting time, and it is an awfully quiet crowd right now, Eddie, here at the Hill.
Well, and understandably so. You're down 33-12, and you had 2 tremendous runs called back because blindside block and holding. This could easily be a tied football game.
Punt formation is Amberson. Lines up at about his own 11. A better punt this time. Fielded at the 50. As Kilgo goes to about the 43 as there's a flag on the play. Thrown from the sideline about the 35-yard line. And we'll see who gets at least the receiving end of this penalty. We'll hear from at least the Walter Wellborn and also the Westbrook Christian Marching Band here at halftime. We'll find out. Haven't seen a whole lot of our head referee.
Got a block in the back on the return team.
Ken Turner, our referee, gives us the block in the back penalty that goes on Westbrook Christian. And that may be either their second or their first penalty because they have not had a whole lot of penalties tonight, Eddie.
Right. I want to say it may possibly that first one. I think, Walter Wellborn has about 4 penalties, I believe, but I think this may have been Westbrook's first. And I think they're trying to score, so I think you'll see Steve here. He'll put it in there, and he'll try to utilize his timeouts.
Now, Reed Barber does have the leg to kick a long field goal to end the half. Looks like a new quarterback in the ball game as he rolls out and he wants to go down the field and has a receiver complete beyond the 30. The ball was jarred out as the ball pass goes incomplete. It's like Sam Solly, the freshman, that time on the throw, as Brody Johnson had the ball go in and out of his hands due to solid secondary work that time for the Walter Wellborn Panthers.
And you got a flag on the other side, so, I don't know if that's an eligible receiver downfield.
We'll find out here soon enough.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
So they'll move it 10 yards. Our FNN Game of the Week brought to you by our friends, also longtime friends from the Calhoun County Commission, that invites you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. A lot to offer this time of the year, especially with just some of the fall foliage around this picturesque part of our great state. Just kicking off the month of November. Playoff time will unfold starting next week. Quick throw, and that's short. Incomplete, intended for the wide receiver, Brody Johnson. A big night so far for Blevins, as he's had 3 total touchdowns, including a couple on the ground. And also Brody Wood with a couple of touchdown runs here in the second quarter. All right, and at least prior to this drive, the Westbrook Christian offense has not been stopped so far this evening. A second down upcoming. Solly in at quarterback. Drops back. Rolls out. Looks downfield. Keeps it. And goes back to just a little bit shy of the original line of scrimmage. Solid play by Ethan Carroll, as that'll be our final play of the first half. We'll wait for our very own Shasta Jones to meet up with Coach Steve Smith for at least our halftime visit with the second-year Westbrook Christian head coach and legendary head coach as far as the state of Alabama high school football scene is concerned. So that's the only drive so far that Westbrook Christian has not scored on offensively so far tonight. Still waiting for Shasta to get in position as far as Coach Steve Smith. And we got Coach Steve Smith waiting to get in position, and we'll throw it down to Shasta Jones.
Coach Smith, this whole first half has been all Westbrook Christian pretty much. You've got a triple threat going on with Brody's, the Blevins, Johnson, and Wood.
Right.
What else do you want to see happen from your offense this second half?
I think we played pretty good on the offensive side. We executed pretty well. Stayed out of long yardage. That's the big thing at Wellborn. You don't want to get in long yardage situations, and we stayed in front of the chains in the first half. Did a good job right there at the end. We got a couple of penalties and backed us up, and that's not the situation you want to be in. So we got to keep our focus and our concentration and do a better job in the second half of not getting complacent with where we're at.
And your defense has been holding pretty well. Anything you want to see them change up the second half?
Just consistency again. We've had 3 drives where we got on off the field pretty quick, and then we've had 2 drives where they just run it right down our throat. The first drive of the game, 2 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. We've got to do a better job of giving up these big plays.
Well, good luck this second half. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We're going to send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Shasta, and thank you, Coach Steve Smith, as we'll begin our halftime coverage after this timeout as we see the Westbrook Christian Marching Band set up for their halftime performance. Westbrook Christian 33 and Walter Wellborn 12 at halftime.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
At Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
It's game day, and from all of us at Bucks Island,
from the Loft Tackle Store,
from the team in service,
from the team in parts,
from the sales team,
from the Bucks Island family, good luck and go get 'em, boys.
Treating our customers the way we want to be treated since 1948. BucksIsland.com or call 1-800-I'm-READY. Let our team help you win on the water.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Halftime on the final Friday of the regular season. James Hardy, Coach Eddie Bullock, Shasta Jones, and our F&N crew with you as we'll send it down to the field for the Westbrook Christian Marching Band. halftime, as the Westbrook Christian Warriors have dominated the first half as they lead 33-12. We'll step aside, and on the other side of this break, we'll see the Walter Wellborn Marching Band here on the Bluefin F&N High School Football Game of the Week.
The Food Barn in Raglan offers the best in good old-fashioned hometown service when you're shopping for groceries, plus the latest ways to get great food specials your way. Click on RaglanFoodBarn.com. Follow the Food Barn on Facebook and listen to the River for weekly specials.
Where you can get everything you need from down on the farm and it won't cost you a leg or an arm.
And they're open 7 days a week. For the best cuts on quality meats, great service, and great prices, it's the Food Barn in Raglan.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at BamaSheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now, these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
From the Hill, here on the west side of Anniston at halftime, it is Westbrook Christian leading 33-12, as we've seen the Westbrook Christian Marching Band, and we're about ready to see for the final time, at least here at home for the Walter Wellborn faithful, the Walter Wellborn Panthers Marching Band on the first Friday of November and the final Friday of the regular season. The Walter Wellborn Marching Band at halftime, but we have Coach Jeff Smith with our own Shasta Jones.
Coach Jeff Smith, tell me, what was your message to your team during halftime?
Just to settle down, and we made some adjustments defensively we think will help us. I think we're playing hard right there. We just got, again, just abandoned technique a little bit, and we think we fixed it here at halftime.
Great. Your team has been playing with heart. Thank you so much. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Shasta. And obviously, Coach Smith, not a man of few words that time. Hey, he wants to go ahead and see what his team can do here in the second half. We'll step aside for this timeout as we'll begin the third quarter on the other side of this halftime timeout. Westbrook Christian up 33-12.
Does the crawl space in your home look like this? Standing water and high humidity are the perfect makings for mold and wood rot, and that means expensive damages to your home. Solve the problem with a call to the experts at S&H Waterproofing and Construction. They've been turning this into this for over a quarter century. Protect your greatest investment with a free assessment today. Get quality work at a guaranteed lower price. S&H Waterproofing and Construction.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of Fred Wilson, Danny Shears, Carolyn Henderson, Terry Howell, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. Our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums. Our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly support the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at Calhoun County. You'll be glad you did.
At iCare Alabama, our goal is to meet the needs of every patient. Dr. Dwayne Mohan and Dr. Ryan Price always strive for excellent outcomes. We want each patient to get the best vision and medical care possible. At iCare Alabama, we utilize all the latest technological advances to ensure that you receive the best quality eye care. So call for an appointment at any of our 4 locations in Piedmont, Heflin, Roanoke, or Atala and see the difference. Most insurance is accepted. iCare Alabama. Efficient, effective eye care close to home.
It's the game of the week on FNN.
First 2 quarters in the books as we are about to begin the third quarter here at the Hill, as Westbrook Christian has been able to come back from a 6-0 deficit when Walter Wellborn scored on just the second play of the ball game, thanks to Ray Williams' 42-yard touchdown run. But after that point, Eddie, it's been all Westbrook Christian.
Absolutely. The penalties have just killed Wellborn. And then once you tack on the penalties with the missed assignments and, not having gap integrity, it just have a snowball effect. And, I hope they made adjustments at halftime.
What does Walter Wellborn indeed need to do here in the second half?
Well, they're going to have to change the coverage up. Coach is counting the box. If you got 6 in the box, like I mentioned earlier, and you got 5 down linemen and 1 running back, that's 6 against 6, and the quarterback makes 7. So you can put a hat on a hat and let him run. He got options, and they're going to have to go to some zone coverage on defense. They're going to have to do some zone coverage in the secondary.
And remember, folks, next week our Bama Sheds playoff coverage begins at Barney Hood Stadium on next Friday as Mountain Brook makes the trip up I-59 to take on the Southside Panthers. And don't forget, at least the FNN portion of our typical high school football Friday, the first 30 minutes will be right here where you're watching us as far as our Tillotson Bend campground countdown to kickoff. But do not forget, when it comes 7 o'clock for game days in the postseason, we turn things over as far as to the NFHS network side of our coverage for the playoffs. So don't forget, go ahead and get those subscriptions lined up so you can check us out for the postseason. The first 4 rounds here on FNN when it comes to the NFHS network starting next week. And speaking of Bama Sheds, for the second season, they've come out and brought to you our ball toss as far as those yellow footballs that you can take for a nice little discount at Bama Sheds. So a big thanks to Bama Sheds for joining us for another season here on FNN. As we are just about ready to begin the second half, we talked about what Walter Wellborn needs to do, and an opportunity here, Eddie, for Westbrook Christian to maybe even make a knockout punch here on this first drive of the second half.
Right. If they punch this football in on this drive right here, Wellborn is going to pretty much be in trouble.
Well, I mean, they're in trouble already, down
absolutely
33-12, down at least a full 3 scores. A 21-point advantage for the out of Rainbow City, the Warriors of Westbrook Christian, as they're trying to play their way into the postseason. We could have up to a 5-way tie for third in Class 3A Region 6 if Weaver can win, and also if Westbrook Christian can finish off Walter Wellborn, as we are underway with the Ray Williams kickoff. A short hop, solid field at the 24-yard line. That's coming to the near side for Westbrook Christian. It's like check that, number 14, Cordell Martin, able to return about a 10 or so yard return to about the 33-yard line. So we'll officially call it 9 yards on the return. You look at that first half for Brody Blevins. He was about as good, efficient as you could be a quarterback. 3 total touchdowns, and he was might have had his best first half of the season, Eddie.
Well, he took advantage of every opportunity they got. I mean, they didn't waste any opportunities that they had, and that's basically what you want. That's called execution.
Indeed, indeed. There's a 1st and 10 coming up to begin this third quarter. Johnson comes in motion. And Johnson gets the jet sweep handoff. A nice fake that time as it fooled the Westbrook Christian defense, as Johnson able to get an iCare Alabama first down to begin this third quarter.
Well, it fooled me. I thought he was giving the dive.
I tell you what, it actually did fool me as well, so you weren't the only one up here that got tricked out as far as that jet sweep. Nice, at least, a job of ball handling from Brody Blevins. Our third quarter brought to you by Perez Remodeling, that you see at the bottom right-hand portion of your screen.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Coach Steve Smith is old school. If you look at him, he hadn't changed that formation but twice tonight. You're talking trips up top and single receiver at the bottom, and if it's not broke, he's not going to try to fix it.
Not as many tricks this time, as Ethan Carroll was able to diagnose that run play to Wood for basically no gain. Walter Wellborn started out the season winning their first 5 ball games, and then they've had the short end of some injury trouble at the last few weeks, and they've lost 3 in a row. Last week to Piedmont, where they were in it at halftime but just didn't have enough gas in the second half on the road. Blevins up the middle, skips his way through into Walter Wellborn territory about the 49-yard line. Both teams, Eddie, they've had some heartbreaks so far this season, as we mentioned in our countdown to kickoff earlier tonight. Both teams, they've had a couple of losses. For Westbrook Christian, they've had 3 losses by less than a touchdown. In fact, they've had those 3 losses. The only other loss that they had was to Piedmont. That was the only double-digit loss they've had, but all the other 3 losses have been by a combined 10 points this year.
Well, you see the trip formation again, and now don't be surprised if he go up top. They've been
Blevins with running room, spun around, and should be at the first down sticks, and that is good enough for the iCare Alabama first down. Looks as if that Steve Smith, at least using some of that clock, but albeit still the first drive of the second half, as you see the locations across our area for iCare Alabama: Piedmont, Heflin, Roanoke, and Atala. And we'll be close to that Atala area, almost a lengthy field goal down at Southside, as far as our first round playoff game next week in Class 6A. Blevins, delay give, no, fake tosses down the field, has a receiver, and that's caught for the touchdown. Or just shy of it, as Brody Johnson's had a monster game as he has just beaten consistently his opposing cornerback and does so here almost for a touchdown.
Wes Williams, the same kid, he's beaten him pretty much every play. He's went out on a pass. He just,
in stride too.
Absolutely, and I tell you, Coach Steve Smith, that's his motto. If he got a weak link, he's gonna keep going at him, and I guarantee he's going to keep taking shots at him. They got single coverage over there.
See what the Warriors offense does here on 1st and goal from the 1 after a 48-yard completion.
Well, he went double-doubles, but if you notice, he motioned the trips.
We'll have a whistle right before the snap. Flag on the play. See if that or a timeout before the flag.
On the defense.
They'll just move it a little bit closer on the offside penalty for Walter Wellborn. As it'll go from the 1 to about the half-yard line. Really not too much to worry about that time, as the Walter Wellborn defense already backed up to their own goal line. And so now Westbrook Christian, they have a chance to just about put this game away. Opening drive of the second half. Already under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Give Wood as he'll just dance it. Loses the football. I don't think he had crossed the goal line, and they're going to say that's Walter Wellborn football.
Popped right out. It popped straight up. He was standing up. It was a fumble.
Now we'll take a second look at that. I thought for a minute that Wood might have scored, but let's take another look.
If you look right here, he's standing up, and he just put a hat right there on the football. And
let's see who was able to cause that fumble. Looks like Jackson Newton might have stood him up to allow a teammate to strip that football away, and now Walter Wellborn takes over at their own, looks like 2-yard line. And there's the recovery by Jackson Newton. That's a quarterback sneak, and looks like some solid blocking that time, maybe for about a yard to get a little bit more breathing room, as Amberson able to get about 1.5 yards or so. That's a big break for Walter Wellborn, because they might have just been knocked out of the ball game if Westbrook Christian had been able to score. Now Walter Wellborn deep inside their own 5-yard line, as we'll have a substitution come in along the Walter Wellborn offensive line.
Well, you don't want to try to get too fancy right here with the penetration that Westbrook Christian is getting. You want to make sure you keep it fairly simple and just man on man.
Williams gets the call. Gets some decent yardage across the 5 to about the 7-yard line. So Walter Wellborn would definitely love to get an iCare Alabama first down here, as Perez Remodeling sponsors our third quarter. Been a long night so far, especially for the Walter Wellborn defense, as they were able to come up with one of really their first real stop of the ball game on that fumble. The only other time that Westbrook Christian hasn't scored was on their final drive of the first half.
Now would be a time you fake a dive and let the quarterback keep it.
Here's the keeper for Newton. Tries to turn the corner and gets an important iCare Alabama first down, at least to keep the offense on the field for the Panthers.
Well, that's their bread and butter play right there, the toss.
And we'll have an official timeout. And don't see if there's an injured player on the field.
I think he might have rolled the ankle.
Well, there you go. Looks like, I think Ethan Carroll, it looks like. That got a little bit banged up earlier. This time a little bit worse as far as the ankle that Coach Bullock mentions, is Ethan Carroll, one of the leaders on this Walter Wellborn squad, being helped off by Coach Jeff Smith. Carroll, tight end as well as defensive end for the Panthers the last couple of seasons. A first down run by Jackson Newton to the 16. That was an 11-yard gain on 3rd and 5. Good for Williams as he rumbles forward and he gets the first down, and he was a step away from maybe taking that for a lot more.
Well, you got a trap again right there. It's just a quick hitter right there.
Well, you heard, at least with our Shasta Jones, that Coach Smith wanted to see his team execute the little things a bit more. And they're starting out this drive on a good note already with a couple of iCare Alabama first downs. But they still have about 73 yards to go to claw within a couple scores. Newton's out of one tackle and gets minimal yardage back to the line of scrimmage, maybe about a yard on the play, as Carter Cothran has had a solid game in run support as he helps out on the tackle from his cornerback spot. Should have had an interception toward the end of the first half, but other than the first drive of the ball game, it's been a solid defensive performance so far on the road for Westbrook Christian.
Well, they running the quick trap with the fullback, and then they run the counter trap with the wing back or either the H-back over there. And
a very speedy third quarter as here's the counter given looks like a fumble on the play. A loose ball, and football goes over to Westbrook Christian.
Well, you had a fumble on the second handoff.
Yeah, the counter give that time dropped by the end, Nick Morrow, as we'll take another look. Now, Nick Morrow just didn't get a clean field, and he tried to pick it up and paid for it. And coming up with the recovery, the nose guard, Jake Haney. So a couple steps forward, 3 steps back for Walter Wellborn as they were able to get a fumble, grind out a couple of first downs, but they give the ball over right back on a fumble. So 5:39 to go here in the third quarter. Our friends at Perez Remodeling brings you our third quarter. Back to throw. Blevins steps up and runs and gets some solid yardage into the red zone inside the 20-yard line. Anniston Memorial Hoax Bluff Glencoe Funeral Home helps bring us our game of the week tonight. Our final regular season telecast as we'll begin our postseason coverage here on the NFHS Network next week. Here you see our friends at Anniston Memorial Funeral Home as well as Glencoe Hoax Bluff Funeral Home and Cemetery. Less than 5 to go as a quick pass complete to the far side for Bo Kilgo. Enjoyed having him and Blevins on Tuesday night down at Top of the River as that duo joined us as far as part of our Westbrook Christian Spotlight as he makes the catch. And that's good enough for an iCare Alabama first down. We won't be, at least this week, at Top of the River, but we'll be resuming that the following Tuesday as far as recapping the first round of the postseason. So our next F&N Coaches Show will come November 12th. Less than 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Third quarter's flown by so far, and looking to fly into the end zone and doing so and pounding his way in for good measure is Blevins for the touchdown.
Quarterback draw, empty backfield.
Oh, that's been a good recipe so far tonight for Westbrook Christian as Blevins gets the first score of the second half on the board from 9 yards out. Makes it 39-12. Third touchdown on the ground tonight for Blevins. As Barber comes back on for the PAT. Successful on all but a couple of kicks tonight. High snap and maybe a little early movement along the line. Looked as if that someone for Walter Wellborn was trying to time the snap count. We'll hear, haven't heard too much from Ken Turner tonight, our referee. Our official's been somewhat restrained so far as relative to throwing those flags out. Unlike a couple of weeks ago when we were up at Gadsden City for that first ever rivalry meeting between Southside and Gadsden City. And it looks as if that flag's going to go actually on Westbrook Christian. And you'll have Referee Ken Turner go across the way, give a brief explanation over to Coach Steve Smith. Impressive performance so far, though, as it looks as if talking with Coach Jeff Smith on Wednesday, he really likes as far as where at least Steve Smith's program is going at Westbrook Christian. He thinks they have the ability, especially a young roster this year, to really make some noise over the next couple of seasons.
Absolutely. I mean, tonight as far as execution, you can see a few things. But
Delay a game on the defense.
So, yeah, delay of game on the defense. They were trying to time the snap count that time. And at least force that time, at least a false snap. They'll just move it half the distance, but hey, no worries. There'll be another PAT try coming up for Barber. They'll still kick it from the 10. Good snap this time. Kick is up, and the kick is good. We'll take the timeout as Westbrook Christian, they're certainly in control right now as they have a 4-score lead on the road here at the Hill in the Bluefin F&N Game of the Week.
At Glencoe Hooks Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, we see our community as extended family.
Hello, I'm Mark Box. My wife Holly and I would like to thank the families that we have had the honor to serve. We see our community as our extended family. That's why we work so hard to invest in our community and the families that call it home. At Glencoe Hooks Bluff Funeral Home and Anniston Memorial Funeral Home, you'll find services that are tailored to meet your needs, whatever those may be.
Piedmont Cutoff Highway in Glencoe and Highway 431 in Anniston. Our family serving your family.
Third quarter, 4 minutes, 18 seconds left in the third. Westbrook Christian has led much of this game, now up 40-12 over Walter Wellborn. Senior night for Walter Wellborn on the final regular season week of the season. The first round of the playoffs across all 7 classifications begins next week. We'll make the trip up to Southside as the Panthers take on the Spartans of Mountain Brook for a first-round Class 6A playoff game. A short end over and kick by Barber as that gets fielded at the far side just shy of the 30-yard line. So first down and 10 coming up for Walter Wellborn. Yancey Hill that time making the fair catch as the Panthers will try and get back into the scoring column here. A tough night for them, but regardless of what the postseason prospects look like for Westbrook Christian after tonight, if you're a Warriors supporter, I imagine, Eddie, and especially the coaching staff, you got to feel good about the direction the program's going.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to feel great, especially if they get into the playoffs. I mean, that's what it's all about.
There's Amberson. That's kind of been the story of the night for much of this ball game ever since the first drive for the Walter Wellborn offense. Just tough trying to grind out yards tonight in what's been a solid performing Warriors defense. So that may have just gotten back to the line of scrimmage. As a substitution, Jackson Clark gets a play in from the sideline. So second down. Amberson under center. Play fake as the toss. Williams, one-handed grab complete for the iCare Alabama first down. That's the best that we've seen, that little rollout executed for the Panthers tonight.
Well, he kind of shot put it that one to him. He just got it. He got it there to him. I mean.
And nice hands that time. Actually, nice hand on the right hand for Ray Williams. Williams with a 42-yard touchdown in the first quarter on the second play from scrimmage got her scoring started. But since then, it has been Westbrook Christian in firm control. So a first down reception to the 43. Quick pitch goes to Newton as he gets spun around, and a solid open field tackle by Jackson Ramsey as he prevented at least a first down for Newton. Jackson Newton also with a touchdown tonight. Westbrook Christian certainly looks as if they're going to be on their way to a regular season closing win. And at last report around halftime, Weaver was leading J.B. Pennington 20-14. If Weaver can hold on, we could have this season in Class 3A Region 6 ended a 5-way tie for third, and only 2 of those 5 can go to the postseason.
That's right. I've never seen a 5-way tie which way it's decided, you know.
Here's Newton to throw, going for Clark. Pretty good throw that time as he had pressure in his face. The Walter Wellborn supporters wanted a pass interference, but no flag on the play.
Looked like he might have grabbed him a little bit, you know.
I'll tell you what, saw Coach Smith work on this play at practice Wednesday, and I'll tell you, Jackson Newton showed he has a pretty good arm that time as he had a man in his face, but still able to get it about 40 yards downfield. So second down, as that was intended for Jackson Clark, the wide receiver. More substitutions checking in. Justice Williams and Nick Morrow back in. Second down or check that, third down and long. Amberson on the roll. Under pressure and stays alive on the play and now goes down. Escaped one but could not escape the other as Noah Wright, the middle linebacker, helps out on the sack. Westbrook Christian, one of their best performances so far on the season, as they've had 3 losses in region play. 3 of their 4 come by a combined 10 points. But they're playing one of, if not their best games of the season. And it looks like we have a flag on the play.
Just too much penetration. It's just entirely too much penetration.
Yeah, flag on the play as that'll obviously be declined on the Noah Wright. Sack and punting time coming up as we're coming on the final couple of minutes here in the third quarter. Solid game plan, and at least just briefly asking Coach Steve Smith prior to tonight's ball game as far as was his team ready to go, and the simple business-like yes from Coach Smith about a couple hours prior to kickoff. Side winding kick as Kilgo makes the fair catch just shy of the 35-yard line. A big week coming up as we'll have a flag on the play well after the fair catch was made. Thrown right in front of Coach Jeff Smith in the Walter Wellborn sideline. As we'll find out at least which of the parties is guilty on the yellow hanky. Maybe been a little extracurricular activity both ways, but we'll find out who gets charged for the penalty. Looks like a personal foul. That's going to go on Walter Wellborn. So 15-yarder and a first down further up the field for the Warriors. Our game of the week brought to you every week by S&H Waterproofing and Construction. Proud partners of F&N for the last few seasons. There you go as far as superior solutions from S&H Waterproofing and Construction, LLC. Don't forget to join us next week for the Bama Sheds F&N postseason edition of our Game of the Week. Also, a big thanks to Bluefin Japanese Sushi and Steakhouse for sponsoring our Game of the Week, our title sponsor each and every week so far this year. New quarterback in the ball game. Also getting the handoff that time was Beckham Hammondtree. Haven't really called his name so far tonight as he takes the jet sweep handoff for about a yard. And it looks as if that Sam Solly back into the ball game. We saw a little bit of him toward the end of the first half as it appears, I would imagine, that Brody Blevins' night might be done.
I believe so. I think Coach probably want to hold him out, not let the clock. You want the clock to continue to run, so you're probably going to see him keep the ball on the ground unless absolutely necessary. And
so second down and long.
You want to try to get out of here without any injuries right now.
Solly, quick toss. That's bobbled but complete, however. A little bit shy of the first down as making his first reception of this Friday night is Brody Wood. So Wood able to reel that in for about a 5-yard grab. So a good little pass to get Solly at least just kind of broken in as far as this second half. This may be the final play of the third quarter as we're well under a minute to go here in the third. All Westbrook Christian since about midway through the first quarter.
Well, you see the same formation again. Trips. Count the box.
Solly drops the snap but picks it up, and he gets snowed under as he gets hit hard that time. As you'll take a look at Dozier Hayes come out of the pile with the tackle. And even if it's a blowout, you know you've played Walter Wellborn because you're going to get some hard licks from a Coach Jeff Smith squad.
Absolutely. They are known for laying that hat on you.
I know. Hopefully, especially for Westbrook Christian, they've got plenty of those 99-cent bags of ice from our friends at the Grub Mart. Along with maybe, and they'll probably deserve a little Oleo donuts as far as how well they've played so far tonight, and coming up on another big college football weekend, and for high school football, the first week of the postseason starting next Friday. We come to the conclusion of the third quarter as all Westbrook Christian, as they're looking to close out the regular season in spectacular fashion, up 40-12 as the final 12 minutes coming up here on the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.
Advantage Tire and Alignment on Highway 202 in Anniston is so much more than just a new tire and rim shop. There's not enough time in this ad to tell you all the many things they can do to help keep your car in tip-top shape. Advantage Tire uses ASE certified technicians, so you know any work done is top-notch. Bottom line, if it needs repaired or replaced, they can probably do the job and save you money. And when it comes time for new or used tires and rims, Advantage Tire and Alignment prices just can't be beat. Stop in and see Bruce and the crew today. Advantage Tire and Alignment.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
Three quarters in the can. The final 12 minutes underway as Solly tosses complete for the iCare Alabama first down as Bo Kilgo makes the reception inside the 40 to about the 35-yard line. As there's iCare Alabama, 844-480-2020 is their number for some first-class eye care. Also, Premier Roofing LLC brings us our fourth quarter. And there you see Premier Roofing LLC down at the right-hand portion of your screen. Big thanks to all of our sponsors for joining us this season. Hey, still have about a month to go as far as our high school football coverage this year, as we'll have a whistle right before the snap and a flag on the play. We'll hear from our referee.
On the offense.
Ken Turner reminds us of that false start. At least as far as that log jam in the middle of the 3A region standings you had. Coming into tonight, J.B. Pennington and Walter Wellborn tied for third at 4-3. Ohatchee across the finish line for the season at 4-4 in the regular season in region play. And then Westbrook Christian and Weaver coming into tonight at 3-4 in region play. And then at the bottom of the standings, Sachs and Glencoe coming into tonight at 1-6 in region play. Keeper for Solly has a lot of running room, and he's close to that first down marker. First and 15. As he was able to get from the 40 almost to the first down sticks, as they'll spot him about the 26-yard line. And I'm looking at Jeff Smith right now, Eddie, right down at that sideline. And, man, I bet he is just ready for that final 11 minutes and change to just get to the finish line here with the way his team has just not had an answer defensively for Westbrook Christian.
Right. You just want to kind of get it over with, and at this point, you hope some things happen where you can still get in.
Swing pass to Wood complete. Spins out of a tackle and then drags the tackler with him to the red zone inside the 20-yard line. Larry Armand, one of those 10 seniors honored in pregame festivities on senior night, makes the tackle. What was senior night like for you as a coach as far as sending those seniors off for their final home games?
Well, it's kind of tough because most of them, you've been with them, 3 or 4 years and most part, and it's kind of tough knowing that you're not going to have that experience in certain players.
Solly gives right out the middle. Nice running room for Wood as he chugs his way toward the iCare Alabama first down marker.
One of the biggest things about senior night is it may be one player that you actually been on pretty tough. You've been riding them pretty tough. But when that player is gone, you actually don't realize how much you actually miss him until he's gone, and you realize that, when you look back in hindsight, you realize, like, I actually didn't realize he was as good as, or she was as good as they were, It's like, and then you start wishing you could have them back. You would have a different appreciation for them. Not that you put them down, but,
Right. First down and goal from the 9. Solly on the give. Wood dances his way and falls toward the end zone and in for the touchdown. Check that. A new running back into the ball game as Steve Smith starting to empty his bench as John Holt, the sophomore, able to fall in from 9 yards out. The touchdown increases the advantage for Westbrook Christian as they have led for the vast majority of this ball game. As here you see actually the first touchdown of the night, I beg your pardon, the number 10, Jerry Zering, the sophomore. So a lot of youngsters coming in off the bench now. I imagine we'll see a lot more of that depth being utilized as Barber booms away the extra point that is up and good. Timeout, 47-12 in favor of Westbrook Christian. Fourth quarter here on the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.
At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're showing off our school spirit with our newly designed vertical Spirit debit cards. Now these are customized with your favorite school's logo, and half of every Spirit card purchased goes toward your school. So, show off your colors and support your local school with the F&M Spirit debit card. You can learn more at fnm.bank. Member FDIC.
Fourth quarter here from the Hill on the west side of Anniston on the final regular season week of the season. Premier Roofing LLC with our fourth quarter as Barber with a little bit of a line drive kick. A rock-solid kick that sends Walter Wellborn deep back in their own territory. As fielding it and returning it will be Nick Morrow across the 10-yard line. And you mentioned as far as some of the players in your coaching career that you may have certainly at least given some of your opinion to, been a little tough with, but and maybe missing them after their playing days were done. Kind of describe maybe on the flip side, maybe in that type of situation, do the players have that kind of almost sentimental reaction looking back once their high school playing days are done?
Absolutely. I mean, you have some of them, I've had senior night where some of them stayed in the field house till 3 o'clock that morning, and you just let them get it all out of the system,
Here's Amberson as he rolls off the left side and gets some solid yardage on first down to about the 21-yard line. I imagine we'll see much of the bench for both of these teams, especially for Westbrook Christian, and get a little bit of playing time down the stretch to finish off this ball game as we're approaching 8, or at least well under 9 minutes to go here in the regular season. Don't forget our Tillerson Bend Campground countdown to kickoff at 6:30 next week. And don't forget, subscribe to the NFHS Network. That's where you'll be able to check us out next week at 7 o'clock for kickoff between Southside and Mountain Brook. Jackson Newton on the carry. Has a touchdown tonight and gets the iCare Alabama first down to the 25-yard line.
And I think what you mentioned earlier is happening to Wellborn right now. The depth is getting them, with injuries and all. It's almost like they're giving out of gas. And they were getting up to the second level, from the line, blocking those linebackers on that toss. But right now, they can't even get to the second level right now. They're struggling to, do what they did early.
Williams pounds away right up the middle for maybe about a yard to a yard and a half. Our F&N Game of the Week brought to you by our friends at F&M Bank, Service Solutions in Strength. Not just an ordinary tagline, but a way of business for F&M Bank. Be sure to visit them for all of your banking needs in our F&N coverage area. Second down coming up. Eli Wickland, the sophomore, checks in for Walter Wellborn. Here's the counter give off of the left side, and solid running. One of the best runs of the night for Kyle Bright as he's able to carry some tacklers with him to the 39-yard line and a Walter Wellborn first down. Should be an interesting matchup, first-round matchup next week as Southside, thanks to that game winner at Gadsden City, able to clinch a first-round home game and still take on a very solid 3 seed, probably one of the best 3 seeds in the state of Alabama, in Mountain Brook next week.
Absolutely. Mountain Brook is not and not by name, they just not a typical 3 seed.
Yeah, certainly not a tip in a very strong 6A Region 6 as we have a flag deep in the defensive backfield.
Well, we know it wasn't pass interference because nobody was back there.
Not sure if the play clock had run down, but we'll find out. Ken Turner, our referee. Trying to get his microphone on there. Trying to find that magic switch there to tell us the penalty. And now we know that it's going to go on Walter Wellborn. That's about the type of trouble that Walter Wellborn's defense has had. I beg your pardon. At least let's look this at that they were going to initially mark it off on Walter Wellborn, but a 5-yard face mask puts the ball back at the 44-yard line.
Well, instead of 2nd and 2 or 3, they decided to decline and get an extra down, first down.
So 1st and 5. Good blocking on the left side that time as Bright able to carry the ball to midfield and an iCare Alabama first down. Coming close, under 7 minutes now to the finish line of the regular season. You always inch toward the beginning of the regular season, Eddie, but once you get to the season, as you know all too well, it flies by to the finish line before you know it. And this is the final Friday of the regular season, and the playoff journeys for much of the state of Alabama begins next Friday. Right up the middle, nice carry that time for Bright. Kyle Bright, workhorse on this drive, as one of those, and yes, one of the 10 seniors honored prior to tonight's ball game, playing his final home game here at the Hill. Looking at Coach Jeff Smith's roster as far as some of his seniors playing their final home game, Sean Perez, Kyle Bright, along with Jerry Morales-Lopez, Jackson Pope, Ethan Carroll, Ray Williams, Larry Armand among others, as Jackson Newton breaks free as he gets tackled from behind inside the 10-yard line as Jackson Ramsey saves a touchdown.
And that's that lack of breakaway speed I was telling you about right there. I mean, the average running back right there, you got 3 steps on a guy right there. You generally gone on that.
First down gain to the 8-yard line. Called that a gain of 40 yards as Walter Wellborn in business on this possession, first down and goal. We'll mention some of the other seniors on the roster for Jeff Smith this year. As the keeper, nice fake that time as Bright carries it around left end into the end zone for the Walter Wellborn touchdown. So Kyle Bright finishes off the possession with an 8-yard touchdown run as we'll take a second look.
That's just a never quit mentality.
So Kyle Bright with his first touchdown as Walter Wellborn will go for 2. Don't have at least a traditional place kicker, so they'll just go for 2 after every touchdown.
Well, you run the same play. You just scored on it, run it again.
Well, we'll see what they do here. And indeed, the same play, and not able to get it this time into the end zone. Walter Wellborn fails at the 2-point conversion attempt on the run from Sean Perez. We'll take the timeout. Coming down the home stretch of the season, 47-18 in favor of Westbrook Christian.
James.
Cracked foundations and settling floors in your home is not the end of the world. S&H Waterproofing and Construction has trained professionals that will come out, give you a free assessment, and provide a solution to fix your problem. S&H has been in the business of waterproofing crawl spaces, basements, and foundation repair for a quarter century. Get quality work at a guaranteed lower price. To learn more, visit the S&H website, our Facebook page, or call to book your free assessment today. S&H Waterproofing and Construction, superior solutions.
Westbrook Christian on top 47-18 with 4:45 to go here in the ball game. James Hardy with you as Perez Remodeling. I beg your pardon. They were our third quarter sponsor as Premier Roofing LLC brings us our fourth quarter. Well, surprise in Pell City tonight. No, Coach Eddie Bullock just showed me. Southside on the short end of a 45-7 at least score right now at Pell City. And tell you what, Coach Nick Gentry doing a very nice job under the radar over at Pell City as there's a fumble on the kickoff, but Westbrook Christian able to recover and keep possession. Especially after the turmoil in the offseason that the Pell City football program, really the Pell City school system went through under former head coach Rush Probst. Nick Gentry, that was an assistant on the staff last year, he's done a very nice job and is starting to kind of make a name for himself after playing for Nick Saban not too long ago down in Tuscaloosa.
Absolutely. And we got another update, too. Sylvania right now is up 10 points on Pisgah.
And Pisgah undefeated 9-0, had beaten Fife to start the season. As we'll have the Westbrook Christian offense come out onto the field as they'll mark the football. And this back at the 38-yard line where the fumble was recovered by the Warriors. Brody Wood able to recover that fumble. As now you'll see much of the bench come in for both teams. Carry off the left side for Jerry Zering as he scored the most recent Westbrook Christian touchdown as Dozier Hayes, a solid game up front defensively for Walter Wellborn on the tackle. Imagine both teams will just keep it on the ground to get across the finish line here, conclude the season, and see where at least what is looking like it will be a 5-way tie for third to close out the season as we have a timeout on the field. Let's take the timeout with them with 4:19 to go in the regular season with Westbrook Christian on top.
Bluefin Japanese Steakhouse and Sushi Game of the Week on FNN is sponsored in part by Southeastern Utility Services, Victory Law, Talladega Short Track, McMichael Waste Services, JMAC HVAC, and Keepin' Clean. Now, more of tonight's Game of the Week on the Friday Night Network.
The final 4 minutes, 19 seconds to go here at the Hill in the regular season as Westbrook Christian about to go to the 500 mark in region play and 6-4 overall, as we'll give you a look at what's ahead for us this week. No coaches show on Election Tuesday, but we'll have our first round playoff game beginning with our countdown to kickoff presented by Tillerson Bend Campground. Mountain Brook at Southside. We'll begin on the FNN side at 6:30 on to the NFHS Network. So get your subscriptions as kickoff on the NFHS Network at 7 as there's a loose ball. And Walter Wellborn says they have it. And in fact, our referee says that Walter Wellborn indeed gets the fumble. So the Panthers able to get some good field position here as they'll try and at least cross the 20-point mark here as they're down 47-18. Walter Wellborn got the scoring started on the second play from scrimmage in the first quarter with a 42-yard Ray Williams rumble to make it 6-0. But really after that, Westbrook Christian just seized momentum, took control, and they haven't looked back since. So Westbrook Christian has been able to just dominate ever since that second play of the ball game, as it looks as if that some of the defense at least huddling up on the far sideline. And it looks like we have a timeout on the field, but Coach Bullock, as we take a look at some more scores, says Jacksonville and Anderson gone back and forth in their season finale, and Jacksonville up by 4. The Golden Eagles going to the 5A playoffs, and also Donahoe going to the 1A playoffs next week. They're tied. Tough battle against Cedar Bluff to close out of the season, as that's also been a back and forth game. They're tied up at 21. That's in the third quarter. A 9-team region this year, Eddie, in Class 3A Region 6. We talked, Shasta and I, with Coach Jeff Smith at the end of practice about that, and he was mentioning, I mean, this has been a region where, really other than Piedmont, all the other teams have basically beaten up on each other. So it'll be interesting as far as the other three teams that get into the playoffs, Eddie, how they do in the postseason.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Offside goes on Westbrook Christian.
Well, been there and done that before. I've been in some regions where we were like, I compare, tough-wise to the SEC. I mean, you play all year and get beat up, and it's just kind of tough for you when you make it to the playoffs. It's good and it's bad.
The give to Demarion Tippins, the sophomore, as he's able to take it off right in for an iCare Alabama first down. You ever been in a 9-team region?
I've never been. I've had 8 and 7-team regions, but I've never been in a 9-team region.
You look at, for all of the teams in 3A Region 6, they only had, this year and next year, have to schedule 2 non-region games. But a lot of tough competition as up and down the region. Backup quarterback into the ball game for Westbrook, or rather for the Panthers of Walter Wellborn. Amberson goes out, and Braden Horton, an 8th grader, into the ball game for the first time, so he's getting some quality reps in a game time situation. Also take a look at some of the other seniors for Walter Wellborn on the roster this year. We mentioned Ray Williams, Larry Armand, as well as Braylon Parker, Logan Hayes, and Kobe Gardner. The seniors that Jeff Smith has this year. Bouncing to the far side, Horton able to get the first down run as he gets maybe close to, we'll see where they spot the football, inside the 10, about the 8-yard line. Only 6 seniors for Coach Steve Smith this year.
I tell you what, one of the most valuable things that's happening right now, those young guys on that field getting valuable reps right there. And, he's young. They actually going to be a whole lot more mature next year than, with those guys getting these kind of minutes out there against those guys at Wellborn.
3rd and 1. Give right up the middle, more than enough for the first down. First time to take a look as far as Walter Wellborn, as there's the first down. See if I can locate as far as the number 40 on the Panthers roster. I don't officially, don't see it. Might have been Schmitz that time that got the run. Didn't see a 40 on the roster. As both teams going deep into their rosters as we come to the final 2 minutes of the regular season. A big thanks for all of our sponsors for joining us tonight and all throughout the regular season. Hey, we still have a lot more football to go, folks, throughout the postseason. Still another month of excellent high school football for us here on the Game FNN Game of the Week. And don't forget to at least lock in those NFHS subscriptions, as we'll be getting that going at 7 o'clock next week. Friday night between Southside and Mountain Brook is banging his way in zone and touchdown for Walter Wellborn as Caden Horton gets on the board from 2 yards out. Touchdown gets Walter Wellborn to 24 points on their 4th touchdown of the evening. So Walter Wellborn at least has a good way to close out the regular season. We'll see how all the tiebreakers favors them in Westbrook Christian once the night is done. Because likely 3A Region 6 will end in a 5-way tie for 3rd, as there's the play fake and a good throw far side that's dropped and incomplete. John Talley, the intended receiver, as we'll take the timeout. 47-24. Westbrook Christian leads with 1:27 to go here on the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.
Your neighborhood Grub Mart is your one-stop shop for everything you need when you're on the go. Grub Mart features the best prices on Coke and Pepsi products and is the home to the 99-cent bag of ice every day. And Grub Mart is your exclusive home for the popcorn bucket. Purchase yours for only $5.99, then bring it for free refills throughout the year. And save every day with your Grub Mart Super Saver card. When you're on the go, it's good to know Grub Mart has everything you need. Gas, diesel, and delicious Oleo donuts. In business over 78 years, visit your local Grub Mart today.
As Caden Horton able to score his first touchdown of the night for Walter Wellborn, as both teams playing out the string here in the final Friday night of the regular season. We'll make our way up the Coosa River when it comes to Southside hosting Mountain Brook for the first round of the 6A playoffs for our Game of the Week next week. We'll start off here on FNN and then transition over to the NFHS network at 7 o'clock. An over-end kick fielded about the 30-yard line as Wood gets hit out of bounds and really shoved out of bounds about the 35-yard line. A big thanks to Advantage Tire, Adrenaline Tree Specialists, Perez Remodeling, Premier Roofing, Eye Care Alabama, and then have to give thanks as well as far as our quintet that are 5 folks on the Calhoun County Commission that remind you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer for you. Whether you're looking to move as far as making your residence here in Calhoun County or start a business. A big week coming up across the state of Alabama. Obviously, a mega election day Tuesday coming up. Obviously, make your voice heard on Tuesday. As the give off the right side, and nice running room leads to another Eye Care Alabama first down. And going into the, at least into Coach Smith, going into his depth, into his roster, is Max Legg as he gets the carry for the first down. There you go. There you go. Important as far as getting, as you mentioned, getting some of those reserves that often don't get to see playing time in much closer ball games, but especially for those freshmen and sophomores, get them ready for the next couple of years. Just 6 seniors for Coach Steve Smith this year, as we're approaching that 1-minute mark as there's a timeout on the field. As you have the We'll go ahead and keep it here and remind you, let's go ahead and give a shout out as far as the seniors for Coach Steve Smith this year. As you have Ian Shaw, one of those seniors, as well as Jackson Ramsey that's had a solid defensive game. Noah Wright, Max Legg that just got the carry. Caden Sanders, Hudson Lowe, Eric Kirkpatrick, as well as far as their final regular season games in a Westbrook Christian uniform. You'll have a log jam as far as third and fourth. Only 2 spots, but 5 teams vying for those 2 playoff spots out of Region 6. As there's the carry. Big number 66 around the left end that time as Caden Sanders gets the carry. Shows that he knows what to do with the football as he rumbles to the 31-yard line. A 15-yard gain and an iCare Alabama first down. Final minute or so about to take off. This will momentarily stop the clock to allow the chains to settle. I imagine we'll have just maybe a couple more running plays to run out the clock and conclude the regular season. And now they've rewound the clock, now under 50 seconds. Lolly in the shotgun. And he'll give. Jackson Ramsey gets the call. And he'll lose back to the 35-yard line. And that just may be the final snap taken in tonight's ball game. A big thanks to all of our FNN crew tonight. Jim Jacobs down in the production trailer. Shasta Jones along the sideline. A big thanks to both coaches for, as always, for helping us out as far as our game prep for this week. A big thanks for Coach Steve Smith as well as quarterback Brody Blevins and wide receiver Bo Kilgo for joining us this past Tuesday night. One more play for the road as a big run for Barber as he goes inside the 20-yard line with 1.2 seconds to go. As they'll stop the clock one last time for the first down. But an excellent performance on the road by Westbrook Christian as they conclude the regular season at 6-4 with a 47-24 win over Walter Wellborn. Eddie, your final thoughts to conclude the regular season. Your final score, 47-24 in favor of Westbrook Christian, as Walter Wellborn drops to 5-4, 4-4 in region play to conclude the season, and Westbrook Christian improves to 6-4 overall and 4-4 in region play. A big thanks to all of our FNN crew, as you see all the folks behind the scenes that helped make tonight's telecast possible. Join us next week, 6:30 for our Tillison Bend Campground Countdown to Kickoff here on FNN between Mountain Brook and Southside up at Barney Hood Stadium, 7 o'clock on the NFHS network when toe meets leather. We hope you enjoy your weekend. A big election day coming up on Tuesday, so make your voice heard and join us next week. James Hardy signing off here on the Bluefin FNN Game of the Week.